A deadly mystery deep in the brush.
There used to be 3 to 5 different tents. Kind of where that blue tub is where Randy was found.
We take you to a crime scene behind the tree line on the trail of clues in a brutal murder in Kent.
Hey, your house on fire. Get out, get out, get out, get out.
Fast action and bravery on body cam. See the rescue unfold at a Skyway home where it's no people or pets left behind.
Let's go.
A child therapist facing child pornography charges catches a flight out of the country.
We believe that they absolutely could have arrested him.
Why law enforcement let him go at the airport. Tonight in the Spotlight.
The Spotlight brought to you by Beacon Plumbing.
Well, good evening. I'm David Rose, and thank you for joining us tonight for the Spotlight. And we begin with the unsolved murder of a grandfather, a man who already faced personal struggles in his life, killed when he was hit in the head with some kind of large object. Police say there is one clue that may help crack this case wide open, and they're hoping that you have that final piece to the puzzle. So tonight, I'm taking you back to the crime scene with the lead detective to show you the challenges they face when murder happens in a homeless camp. When first responders got the call that there was a guy injured, they had to come in through here to get back to him?
Correct.
Okay.
So you kind of sneak around this trail,
Yeah.
and then up here on the left.
You can't see the encampment from Southeast 256th Street in Kent until you take a few steps down into the woods. Trash and debris littering a trail, now overgrown.
All right, so to get back in here, you have to crawl under here. This is pretty grown over from what it was
Oh yeah,
back
absolutely.
then. Ah, watch out, stickers. All right.
You good?
Yeah, don't get cut.
Kent PD Detective Matthew Lorette says there were multiple people staying here in March of last year.
There used to be, it was kind of a compound of 3 to 5 different tents that were all kind of conjoined, had a big roof down the middle. The entrance was right there. Kind of where that blue tub is where Randy was found.
Randy is Randy Cantrell. He wasn't living here, but would often visit until someone discovered him unconscious in one of the tents.
So when the call for help first came in, firefighters thought they were responding to an overdose call. They got into this area and they found Randy, and they quickly realized his body temperature was really cold. It wasn't an overdose. He had a large bash in his head.
Randy was rushed to the hospital while police started to gather evidence and look for witnesses. Most had disappeared, but there was one name that popped up, a person of interest that Detective Lorette really wants to talk to, known only as Fiji John. He's hoping somebody knows Fiji John's real name or where to find him.
It doesn't look like anybody's been out here in a while.
No.
At that point, the case was being investigated as an assault.
We knew pretty quick that it was a felony act.
Sure,
involved.
yeah.
A few days later, it was murder. Randy was brain dead and on life support when his daughter Ashley got to the hospital.
I got like 2 days because I didn't even know he was an organ donor. All of a sudden they're calling me because we wanted to let him go peacefully.
After her dad died, Ashley got letters from some of the people his organs saved.
I miss him a lot, but I'm just glad he just doesn't have to suffer through the pain no more.
Before her father was attacked, Ashley was already scared for him. She tried to get him help. He suffered a brain injury from a previous attack 2 years ago and lived off a $1,000 monthly disability check. She wonders if that was the motive.
My dad was like the sweetest, loving, caring person out there. He would go and take all of his money he had, and he would make sure he was taking care of everybody.
Ashley knows firsthand the dangers of the streets. She'd also been homeless.
Once I found out I was pregnant, I was like, all right, I'm going to treatment. I was just done.
She's clean now and raising her son.
I'm going to school to become a drug and alcohol counselor now. I want to help people.
It's helped her cope with her dad's death. Randy's murder hit his sister much harder. It was too emotionally difficult for Julie Cantrell to talk on camera, so she put her thoughts on paper. Writing, Randy suffered for many years with mental illness, job injuries, and addiction. But he was not always so broken. He was my big brother, and I loved him. The years that he spent on the streets were the most helpless, gut-wrenching years of my life. She forgives the killer and worries about other vulnerable victims like her brother, but adds, I can't help but feel like the real story is about what is wrong with our society, our laws, with our system that lets people fall through the cracks.
Ugh, nobody should have to live like this. This is terrible.
Encampment murders can be some of the most difficult to crack, with complicated crime scenes and vanishing witnesses. But Detective Lorette believes he's close. He just needs a little more info, starting with finding Fiji John.
Do you think it's solvable?
Oh yeah, yep, most definitely.
Unless the killer is caught, police say it's likely that Randy Cantrell won't be the only victim. So, if you can identify Fiji John or have any information to help solve this murder, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a $1,000 cash reward. You never have to give your name. It is anonymous. So text the information through the P3 Tips app that you can download to your cell phone for free, or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS. Seattle homicide detectives need your help to identify this man in an unsolved murder. Take a look at these photos and what investigators are calling a random homicide. Police believe he's the man who was involved in the shooting at a gas station with total disregard for people inside. This happened back on October 13th at Shree's truck stop in Seattle's Highland Park neighborhood. 53-year-old Oton Garcia was killed in the shooting. Family members of the victim have this message for the killer.
Le quitaron la vida a una gran persona que no merecía.
They took a life from someone who was a great person and didn't deserve to die yet. He has children and a family that loves him. He had many goals. I hope they understand the harm they've done and turn themselves in so we can know why they did it.
He was a great person. He really did take care of us.
So detectives have not said that this is the shooter. They are saying he's involved in the crime. If you know who he is, please submit a tip to Crime Stoppers for a $1,000 cash reward that's being offered in this case. It's happened again. Another accused killer released from jail in King County. This time, a woman charged with 2 counts of vehicular homicide for a deadly crash in Enumclaw is free tonight after she posted bond. The deadly crash happened on October 13th on SR 410 in Enumclaw. Troopers say Michelle Oster was trying to pass several cars when she caused a chain reaction crash that killed 72-year-old Kim David Norberg and 69-year-old Betty Nordberg. Their car crossed into oncoming traffic and was T-boned. 2 women in that other car were airlifted to the hospital. We know one of them has a broken spine. After the crash, detectives say Oster was dismissive and more concerned with getting her vape from her car than she was about the state of the victims. Court documents also say she told investigators she was passing traffic because she was in a hurry to get home. In her first court appearance, King County Judge Kuljender Dillon set bail at $100,000. Prosecutors requested 5 times that amount. Oster posted bond and walked out of jail the next day. Prosecutors have charged her with 2 counts of vehicular homicide and 2 counts of vehicular assault. She's due back in court on October 30th to enter a plea. A local child therapist was arrested for child pornography, and then he managed to escape the country. Yushang Ling, who goes by Bruce, was stopped by law enforcement at SeaTac Airport, then was let go. As the Spotlight's AJ Janavel reports, that suspect was able to slip away because of confusion over red tape in the case.
Port of Seattle police was on scene and declined detention of the subject due to a lack of a warrant. A 1-sentence answer as to why a man accused of peddling in the misery of sexually abused children is now free.
We believe that they absolutely could have arrested him, and we were under the belief that they would have because they didn't need a warrant.
Probable cause documents I obtained show 26-year-old Yushan Ling, who went by Bruce, worked as a family and child therapist. According to the documents, Ling was employed with Valley City's Behavioral Health Care. Ling claimed in that role he collaborated with schools, DCYF, CPS, and Seattle Children's Hospital.
Extremely disturbing allegations.
Police discovered dozens of images of child pornography in a computer file alongside a file for his cover letter for an application to Seattle Children's Hospital.
That's just so awful when you read the details in those court documents.
Ling bonded out of jail with possibly as little as $7,500 out of his own pocket. He then somehow acquired an illegal passport and, despite Homeland Security flagging his planned escape and King County Sheriff notifying the Port of Seattle police to make an arrest, which documents say they agreed to do, officers at the airport let Ling board a flight to China.
What he could have been arrested on were 2 things. One is attempted bail jumping for trying to board that flight. The other is not following court orders by getting that passport and trying to get on the flight.
For the Spotlight, I'm AJ Janavel.
Tonight, some action-packed police body cam video with an important message. Don't do drugs. Pierce County Sheriff's Department deputies arrested Brian Whitmarsh, who was behind the wheel of a stolen car. but not before he led them on a chase and then apparently overdosed. When they got to the hospital, deputies learned he was hiding even more drugs in his prison pocket. If you don't know what the prison pocket is, you're going to have to Google it. Whitmarsh is still in jail tonight. Sergeant Darren Moss walks us through the body cam video that captured it all.
You better stop. I'm going to shoot you.
At 12:11 a.m. on Sunday, October 14th, one of our deputies was at 8900 Riverside Drive when he located a stolen vehicle. He attempted to make a traffic stop, and of course, they took off. The deputy gave chase, but the pursuit ended right away at 74th Street East and 166th Avenue East, the suspect immediately fleeing on foot.
We're approaching 410 on 166 northbound. Stop! Run in the car! Start K9 foot bail. You better stop! I'm gonna shoot you! You better stop! What'd you say? Stop preaching! I'll shoot you! You gotta get on the ground! Stop preaching! Better stop! Stop preaching! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
I drank some pills!
Arms out to your side! 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 Ow, don't hurt me! Hey, sir! Sir! Other hand, other hand. Yes, sir. All right, I got him.
Start hopping fences right here.
He went right through the gate there, hopped the fence into the farm, and then, yeah, made me run.
A few minutes later, the deputies checked on the suspect and saw he was possibly overdosing.
Hey. Hey. Yeah. Give him a hit here. Give me a pull him out. We're good.
Deputies administered Narcan and laid the suspect in the recovery position before the fire department arrived. After the fire department arrived, the suspect was very aggressive and uncooperative.
Help from them?
No, you, punk.
Do you want help from
Let's go to Pierce County Jail, I ain't got no warrants, I ain't got nothing, boy.
The man was transported to the hospital to be cleared and booked into the Pierce County Jail. And there, the deputy found out that he gave a false name. The big clue was his last name was tattooed on his arm. The deputy then discovered that he had several warrants for his arrest. And he found out the suspect had hidden some narcotics as well. The warrants were for escape from community custody for unlawful possession of a firearm in the second degree from DOC, DV assault for and theft from Kent, a hit-and-run warrant from King County, and possession of a vehicle theft tool from Bonnie Lake. Once he was cleared from the hospital, the suspect was booked into the Pierce County Jail for eluding, possession of a stolen vehicle, unlawful possession of a controlled substance, obstructing, resisting arrest, false statements, and driving while license suspended. Couple lessons to be learned here. Number one, if you run, you're probably just going to go to jail tired. And number two, don't lie to us and give us a fake name, especially if it's written on your arm. Anyway, outstanding job, deputies. One more thing. Don't do drugs. Don't be like that.
It was a race against time as two King County Sheriff's deputies rushed into a burning home. The people inside did not know that their house was on fire. Their neighbors also unaware of the spreading flames. Bodycam video captured the moments those deputies went into rescue mode.
It's just after 11 a.m. in Skyway, and the people who live inside this house have no idea it's on fire.
Hey, your house is on fire. Get out, get out, get out, get out.
A man and a young boy quickly run outside.
Come on, let's go.
But their dog...
Puppy, come on. Let's go. Come here, baby.
doesn't want to go. Watch as deputies run to the back of the house, and that's when they see flames pouring out of the detached garage.
Oh, back up, back up, back up.
This is a different angle, showing another deputy running towards the back of the home. She wants to make sure the next-door neighbor is okay.
Hey, ma'am, this is the police. This is on fire. Who else? Is there anybody else in your house? No, just my dog. Get your dog and some shoes. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's all. It's okay. We have a little into our house too. I don't know yet. I just ran and grabbed them out of there.
With the neighbors and the people who live there out safely, there was one more family member to rescue, that dog. And fortunately, firefighters were able to save him.
I got it.
They pulled the pup out.
I got somebody for you.
Well, the cause of the fire was ruled accidental. It started with burning cardboard in a fire pit. It was originally put out with a garden hose, but an hour later, the burning embers spread. The family did decline to talk with us on camera, but tell us they are very grateful to those deputies.
Hey, get ready to pull it.
Dramatic video showing Seattle police pulling a man from the path of a speeding train just in time. Back on October 7th, police say the man was having a mental health crisis and fell more than 25 feet onto the tracks. He suffered serious injuries and couldn't move. One of the officers who was on scene had this to say about the rescue.
Hopefully, you know, that meant something to him, and I think it meant something to us as well. So that's just kind of, you know, what I would like people to take from that is that, you know, if you need help, police are there to help you, and intervention can, you know, save your life.
The man was taken to Harborview with multiple fractures. Before he fell, dispatch requested a halt on all the trains on that track, but apparently one was already inbound. It caught officers by surprise, but didn't stop them from moving him to a safe place. A memorial to Filipino culture and their fight for independence was heavily damaged in a Seattle park. Copper and bronze plaques ripped from the stones surrounding the bust of Dr. Jose Rizal. He's a national hero of the Philippines, a voice of political reform at the end of the Spanish colonial period. As the Spotlight's Dave Detling tells us, whoever stole those plaques also took a time capsule filled with precious mementos.
It symbolizes culture, history, the pride of the Filipinos.
For decades, this monument to Dr. Jose Rizal stood undisturbed in the very park named after him in Seattle's Beacon Hill neighborhood.
He was our hero, martyr, and yeah, our national hero.
That is until this past weekend when it was vandalized.
Apparently, I guess bronze and scrap metal is very expensive right now, but, you know, don't, you know, do that. It's just so disrespectful.
4 memorial plaques bolted into these stone pillars were ripped off.
I'd hate to think where those plaques are, if they're in like a plastic bag in some metal, scrap metal yard or something.
The thief or thieves going even further and removing a time capsule housed under the bust of the national hero for Filipinos.
Some Filipino American Herald articles, just some historical items and mementos. And so that was all in there, and it was supposed to be opened within 20, 30, maybe 50 years from now, from the time it was actually installed.
For Tess Gerzon, Dr. Jose Rizal Park holds a special place in her heart and heritage. Her mother, Zenaida, was influential in helping bring the copper bust of Dr. Jose Rizal to Seattle from overseas. She says Zenaida was one of the many people of Filipino descent who made this park a significant and historical site for Filipino Americans in the Pacific Northwest.
This is our park. There's only 5 parks in the U.S. named after Dr. Jose Rizal, and one of them is Seattle.
For the Spotlight, I'm Dave Detling.
The vandalism and theft took place over the weekend of October 12th and 13th. If you have any information, please call Seattle Police. And if you know where those plaques turned up, the Rizal Park and Bridge Preservation Society wants them back, no questions asked. Well, here on the Spotlight, we've been following the recovery of a local canine. His name is Hondo. The Mill Creek police dog had to have a tumor removed from his abdomen over the summer, and it was touch and go for a while. We are now happy to report Hondo is back on the job. He was cleared for full duty after getting a clean bill of health. Mill Creek police say on his first day back, he prevented a burglary suspect from escaping. Good boy, Hondo. That does it for us tonight on the Spotlight. Until next week, I'm David Rose. Please stay safe.